This unit is about adding table data. We should only need files exg-1. We can add records to a table by typing data directly below the last row of existing data in the table. After we press enter, the new row becomes a part of the existing table and the table formatting extends to the new data. When the active cell is the last cell of a table, we can add a new row by simply pressing tab. We can also insert rows in any table location. We don't have to simply insert additional records at the end of a table. If we decide we need additional data fields or columns, we can simply add new columns to that data table. And this actually isn't a data table, excuse me. That's a different topic. We can expand a table by dragging the sizing handle in the table's lower right corner. Drag down to add rows, drag to the right to add columns, and we're going to try some of this in Unit G, Add Table Data. In our last exercise, we were working on the practice worksheet. Now let's go to the 2016 Tours worksheet. We'll scroll down to the last table row and click in A65. And right here, without doing anything else, we can simply start typing our newest record or row, which will be Pearls of the Orient. Notice if I hit enter, you can see that this new record will automatically be a part of this very special table that we created. Now I can put in the additional data for this brand new record. Hit tab to move on. And notice the formatting is built in. That's the great thing about being able to do something like this. As we scroll down, something else pretty nice happens. Notice that our table headings remain in place. They don't disappear from our screen. That's a nice benefit with using a special table feature like the one that we created in our last exercise and the one that we see here. We're going to scroll up to A6 here, and let's say I want to add a record right here. Well, logically I need to insert a row, but I don't need to simply insert a row the regular way that we do this. For instance, if I want to insert a row for just any old spreadsheet, I could come over here to the left, get right on top of 6, and when I see that black arrow pointing right, I could right click and choose insert. But that's the wrong kind of insert, actually, believe it or not. I'm going to undo that. Now sometimes that might work for a table, but sometimes it may not. Really the best way to truly insert a row would be to do something very similar. Go to the very edge of row 6 and I still see that black arrow pointing right. But this time, notice that I'm restrained to the table. So I don't have to worry about accidentally putting the wrong kind of data right in the middle of my table. It may not make a difference, but I'm not so sure. So I would suggest you do it this way. And just to make sure, let me double check something. Let's say I do come here. Notice how the entire row is selected, but not necessarily just the record. As a matter of fact, if I go to my cells group and insert, the feature I really want, which would be to insert table row, isn't available. Insert sheet row is. But if I go back and do this the right way and click just before I get to that row heading, if I click that way, only the record is selected, and if I go to insert now, insert table row above is there, and that's really what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and select that I do want to insert a row, a record row at that, and I'm going to enter my Yellowstone record, and I can just tab when I know that it's found the right thing to enter. Put in my data here, and look at that. Notice another benefit of being in a table. As I tab, Microsoft Excel assumes I want to remain in the table, and it doesn't bounce out somewhere out here in the regular worksheet. Let's keep moving. Now we want to click cell I1, and let's say we'd like to add a field. We want to extend our table basically. I could come here and type seats available. And because I did it right here adjacent to my table, Excel assumes that this should also be a part of the table. And that's good. That's exactly what I do want. Now I'll come down to the end here. And if I'd like to make this table even bigger, here's another way of doing this. I can grab, notice how my cursor changes from this white block plus sign to the double action arrow here in a sense. I can click, hold, and drag over to the right, and that's another way of getting a brand new column or a brand new data field. Right now it's called column 1, but that's okay. I can definitely rename this, which is what I'm going to do. I'll call this Visa Required. So there you have two ways of extending out a table. Now the last thing we'll do, I'm going to go to my Insert tab, find my header and footer button in the text group, and I'm going to do what really you should always do, which is to include your name. So go ahead and type my name here. Now notice going to that insert header footer placed me in a different view type for my screen. If I want to get back, it's simply a matter of coming down here to the status bar. Right now I'm on the page layout view, and I can see here that I have one column that's actually going to be on a second page. We can clean that up later. I won't worry about that right now. But to get back to my normal view, I'll come down to normal, click it, and I'm back to the view that I prefer. I'll go ahead and save this workbook, and that's it for this exercise.